All right, this is another video about how to fix something yourself and hopefully save some money in the process and learn some things. Today we have a TV that was in the house that got hit by lightning and the TV does not work anymore. So I want to teach you how to diagnose this and how to repair it. Your TV may look different than this, but as long as it's an LCD TV, it doesn't matter if it's what kind of backlight it is. As long as it's an LCD TV, the same rules should apply. To start our repair, I want to quickly show you some of the parts on this TV. To take the back of the TV off, lay it on a blanket like I have here, face down. Don't put any pressure on the screen. You don't want to put any. You don't want to break the LCD panel. And then take all the screws off the back, and then you'll have your back of the TV. And so let me walk you through here some of the parts. This is the main power supply. You can tell because it has the AC power plug. And that's one of the boards you want to be concerned about. And the other one is, this is the brains of the TV, the main board. And these other boards are sort of sub-power boards because it's not a LED backlit TV. And just for kicks, that one up there is called the T-Con board, but you don't need to worry about that. Two boards you need to worry about: power supply and main board over there. Okay, after you have located your main power supply, we're going to go to step one of the diagnosis, which is to see if the main power supply is putting out the correct voltage. Now, if you had plugged in your TV and you noticed the little light in the front that turns on, say before you push the power button on the remote control, if that light is on, that's a positive sign. That tells you, or that's a very good sign that this board is working and that it's the main board over there. That's bad. But if it's dead as a doornail like this TV is, then step one is going to be to check the fuse. Before I show you the fuse, make sure that your TV is unplugged and there's currently no power going to the power board. All right, you want to check the fuse for continuity to make sure that it is not blown. And if the fuse is blown, you could potentially just replace the fuse, or if you don't want to think about it, just buy a new power supply board and replace it. There's usually 4 screws around the corners, unplug everything, and you can put it back in. But if you want to test to make sure it works, I put my multimeter, if you can see it there, sorry for the bad light, in diode mode, such that when the two tips touch, it beeps. And if I touch the two ends here of the fuse, it beeps. That means the fuse is good. So let's move on to our next part. The next place you want to look on the power board is where the set of wires connect the power board to the main board. And if you look, you can see a description of each one of those wires printed next to the connector. And here you see 12 volts at the top, and then there's ground, see 12 volts, ground, and then you have these other ones. The voltage that you want to check for is called the standby voltage. See right here, it says standby 3.3. Most TVs have a 5 volt standby voltage. This one has a 3.3 volt standby voltage. So that's what you want to measure with next, and I'm assuming you know how to use a multimeter. Put the negative lead on the ground, any part of the metal chassis of the TV, and put your red probe, make sure you don't short any of these out, but touch it right next to that one. And when I did that on this TV, it showed 3.3 volts. Let me zoom in on there a little bit. There you go. So test for that pin, 3.3 volts. All right, it occurred to me as I was explaining that last part that you actually have to plug the TV in to test for that 3.3 volts. Hopefully you figured that out. But I also wanted to point out something, a word of caution when you do this. Obviously there's a lot of electricity going through these. If it's an LED TV, it's not as high. You always want to take precautions and never touch anything that you shouldn't. But particularly on a TV like this that has giant capacitors, these circular things here, you don't want to get even near those things. So use caution and safety and common sense when you're working with electronics. So the part that we tested was that connector over there. Next, let's go to the main board. Okay, since we found that the fuse worked and the standby voltage was there, in my case, the 3.3 volts, or maybe in your case, a 5 volt standby voltage, chances are that the power board survived the lightning strike, and that the reason why the TV is not turning on now, or not even showing the standby light in the front of the TV, is because there's a problem with this board. Now, in the limited experience that I've had with working with TVs that were hit by power strikes, there's a common problem that I wanted to show you. And it actually, you would think that the TV got knocked out because of the lightning strike through the AC power cord, but that's not the case, because a fuse didn't blow and we're getting our standby voltage, which is telling us that the power supply is working. So you say, well, what is it? It is the thing that was hooked into this board, which is one of these connections on the side. So whatever was DVD player, Blu-ray player, PlayStation, whatever, the power went through that and killed this board. And so the next thing we want to look at is look at the connectors and look and see if we see anything suspicious down in there. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we want to look to see if there's any kind of burn marks or something that seems out of place on this main board. And we're looking along the side here, and it doesn't look like there's anything too interesting. But the first thing that I'm always going to go to is something a little lower here, which is where all the HDMI connectors come in, because you probably have your device hooked in with an HDMI cable, and that's what these are right here, these silver ones that you can see. Those are the HDMI, and if you follow these traces, they go to an HDMI controller chip. And the TVs that I've seen before that have gotten hit by lightning or had some kind of HDMI trouble, right here, take a look at that. If you can see that, look at that. The chip just blew up because of all that power went right into it. And right there is our problem. When you have a chip that's blown up like that and your TV's not turning on, it is probably shorting out that main board, and it's not even allowing the standby voltage to turn on the light in the front of the TV. So I am going to say that this is certainly our problem, and we need to replace the main board. All right, well, let's order a new board and put it in and see what happens. Some of these connectors you just pinch and pop off. These you pull with your thumb and rock it off. These guys, sorry about the lighting. It's late at night and I don't have great lighting here in this this place where I had to put this TV because it was so big. Couldn't leave it in the house. 2 hands for this one. Pinch these, rock it out, and now it's just a matter of unscrewing. Okay, I got the board screwed in. I'm going to put the rest of the connectors on. This one goes here. This one, 2-finger pinch. Make sure that goes in all the way. This one up here. And one more. These are usually keyed, so you don't put them in the wrong way. If you have to force anything, don't force it. All right, we are ready to put some of the other things back together and turn on the TV to see if it worked. All right, here's the moment of truth. This is the area where the standby light is going to come on. So I'm going to plug in the TV. Sorry for the shaky camera. Hey, there we go. So the standby light is on, and I'm assuming this TV is ready. I'll show you one more video after I put it all back together. But that was it, our blown HDMI chip. Hopefully yours was as easy to fix. Okay, now's the moment of truth. We got the TV put back together. Push the power button. Sony Bravia. It works. All right. So we fixed a TV, and hopefully you learned a little bit about how TVs work. And if you have attempted this, have questions, or have any kind of comments, put them in the description below. I'd love to hear from you. If there's any way I can help, ask a question and I will try to answer it. And hopefully you can fix your TV as well.